It's very difficult. Now, here comes another part of the secret, the part that faith plays, that you have full faith. How do you have full faith? With our mind working the way it does work, you can't have full faith. It doubts everything, doubts all the time. It doubts and fears all the time. It's ingrained into it. It is built into it. Our mind is an instrument given to us with a built-in function called doubt and fear. It's built in for a good reason. It's not built in to make our lives worse. It's built in to make our search for the truth better. It is built in so we are not gullible. Anybody says something and we just believe it. Anybody says, have faith in what I'm saying and we believe it. That would be absolutely useless. Nothing will happen. The idea of making you a doubtful person, a skeptical person, is that you don't believe things just as they are. You believe them when they're backed by something, backed by experience. So this is part of the function of the mind, to create doubt, to create skepticism, to create questions about everything. It's a very good function. If no questions are asked, you'll be so gullible, you'll be taken advantage of by the whole people all around you, so the whole society, whole creation will take advantage of you, you'll get nothing. To question is very important. So you must question and must have a doubt to start with, and then remove your doubt by experience. That's the method. Now, in order to have that faith, some experience is necessary. You can't have faith in something which has no experience to back it. If the experience is not exactly on what you are having faith on, it should be something connected with it. You have a faith that you are going to have $1 million. A man came to me yesterday and he said that you told people that I will be a millionaire and I will give $1 million to this organization which holds these meetings, ISHA, Institute for Study of Human Awareness. He said, you told me this, I believe it. And he brought a check for me and said, this is my first installment of that $1 million. I know he doesn't have $1 million, but he brought the first installment with faith that he will have $1 million. And he will have $1 million. The question is, the faith that we talk of is not based upon blind faith. Just because we believe somebody, just because we believe a book, we believe a statement, we believe anything, that's not true faith. That is blind faith. Living faith requires that the faith itself, the events that lead to that faith should be alive. That means they should be growing. Today you have one little experience, tomorrow you have one more. If that happens, that will be living faith. So faith also takes a little time to build because it's based upon experience. And you can't say one little experience gave you 100% faith. People say so. People have come to me and said, you know, that experience was so important for me, I have now 100% faith. Next day, bad experience happens and the faith is gone. Faith builds with a number of experiences. Faith is part of life. Faith is to grow with experience on a belief system which is backed by your own personal experience, not somebody else's experience. And that's very important. We hear stories, somebody else has achieved this. We haven't achieved it. We can't deny he has achieved it or not. We can't criticize him because we haven't achieved it, he has not achieved it, which is also a mistake we make. We criticize people for making statements that they have achieved some enlightenment, they have achieved something on the spiritual path or elsewhere, and we may have doubt, but we can't deny that they may have had. We didn't have. But when we have, then we can say we have faith that happens. So that is why on the spiritual path, of which I talk to you every time, there is no scope for blind faith. There is no scope for just saying, I read in this book, how much I honor this book, I just read it and I believed. It must be backed by your own personal experience. No matter how small the experience is, and the experience that you have, which is a small experience that leads to your faith, must grow in time. More events must happen. For example, people talk of coincidences or accidents. Accidentally this happened, and they see a greater meaning in that accident than a mere accident. A coincidence, for example, something you are thinking of a friend you haven't met for 20 years. You're thinking about the friend, and thinking that that friend used to talk about this particular subject, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him, and next day you get, after 20 years, a letter from that friend. It strikes you that you were thinking about it. The probability of that friend sending a letter is so little, yet he sent it. This is called a really remarkable coincidence, and this coincidence carries a message that you have inside you some kind of a feeling about that friend, about what he's going to talk to you, and that is being proved by a coincidence. Now, I can tell you, with my experience of thousands of friends around the world, that ever since they came on a spiritual path, on living faith, on developing faith with experience, the number of such coincidences has gone on increasing. Here's an indication. If these experiences, which we call coincidences, they keep on increasing, that's element that is creating more faith. That is something that is creating an experience of more faith. That kind of living faith is the true faith that works well in the spiritual world, but also works well in the temporal world, of this physical world. So that is why I say when we follow a spiritual path, we should have that kind of living faith.